We interrupt your regularly scheduled scrolling of the internet for an important wrestling story. Sportskeeda Wrestling with the wrestling story of the week. We've already had so many stories. We had Cody Rhodes getting injured, CM Punk getting injured, MJF going off on AEW. We thought those were the biggest stories of the year so far. No, not. Vince McMahon has voluntarily stepped down as the chairman of WWE. That is a real sentence of a real thing that happened amid this investigation into a misconduct relationship he had and a possible non-disclosure agreement that may have violated some of the company's critical policies. His daughter, Stephanie McMahon, on hiatus in the company, has assumed the role of chairwoman of the WWE. This is a massive story. He will appear tonight in character on WWE SmackDown. We're going to get into all of it. Your questions about what is going on, what could this mean for the future of the biggest promotion in professional wrestling. It's a special edition of Sportskeeda Wrestling Top Story.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Watch out, watch out, watch out. There's so much to watch out for. If you're with us for the first time, don't make it the last time. Subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling on the YouTubes, on the podcast as well.
Before we get started, it's been a hell of a week.
Yeah.
It's been just full of crazy. So
much.
Let's just kick one back real quick here before we get into this, because this is the biggest news of all time.
So let's get into this. We have a lot to cover here.
Okay.
And a lot of comments are going to be on this, and we're going to take your questions on this as well. This is a Friday edition of the show. We do the Freestyle Friday. So questions you have, keep them like civil and conscious of what is going on in the real story. And don't forget to share the link and bring your friends in if they're interested in what's going on here. We're going to lay it all out for you. Everything that's going on. Dave Meltzer was just on CNN about an hour ago.
Did anybody catch that report? Did you guys know what?
I believe it was just a segment. I didn't get to catch it myself.
Okay.
I was hoping that he would just say that Jake Tapper was Brian.
I was trying to see if there was a clip on Twitter, but I didn't see anything
yet. I think Dave mentioned how Vince is going to be appearing on SmackDown tonight. And Jake Tapper goes, "Of course he is." That was his response to Vince appearing on SmackDown tonight live.
Jake Tapper loves to chastise people, so he'll
mainstream media does not like wrestling. Okay, we get it.
Of course he is.
Kevin Sullivan saying he caught it. It was just under 4 minutes. So let's get into this.
Got it.
So obviously you guys know the story that broke just about 2 days ago with Wall Street Journal breaking a massive story for the financial world that Vince McMahon is under an internal investigation that also involves a third-party company that's going to examine all of WWE's kind of internal affairs on this matter. And that will go into the deep history of the company related to Vince McMahon having an apparent inappropriate relationship with a former employee of the company. And in January of 2022, agreeing to a non-disclosure agreement with that person over their consensual relationship that was reportedly in the millions of dollars. Now, this person, while they were employed, received a possible promotion that some people speculate could be quid pro quo. Because you're dating me, you get to have this. Because of this, you get to have, those different things. And that's the major grievance here, financially and professionally for WWE. Obviously, having that type of relationship, those different things. We could get into that. So that's the major issue. And the more we explore...
by the way, guess who this was that did that? That leaked her, or quote unquote, says he has sources and provided the lady's name. Guess, just take a wild guess on the asshole that did that.
Was that one Nicholas Khan?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No. I don't think this is something that Nicholas Khan signed up for. Nick Khan is the president of WWE.
It rhymes with this.
Oh, okay. Oh, him. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, the usual suspects. Yeah, there we go.
So to get clicks, he outs the lady's name if his source.
If that's her real name, if that's her real name, dude, that guy is he is the Alex Jones of the wrestling media world, and that isn't a compliment.
He's a piece of shit. That's just all there is to it.
Wow. Let it be clear that these are not the reflections of Sportskeeda Wrestling, and only the reflections of Buzzkill Jeremy Bennett and
Sure.
buzzkill Jeremy Bennett himself.
Oh, that's the reflections of about
I'll
everybody on
co-sign
the
it.
internet. That's about
I'll co-sign it, Jeremy.
It's the reflections of about everybody on the internet.
I don't like putting anybody under the bus because it doesn't involve me.
That's the reflection of about everybody on the internet towards that guy.
So this continues to get crazy, and we've had so much news this week, but this one was even crazier because you wake up to the Friday news cycle. When you get press releases on a Friday, the idea usually tends to be it's responding to some type of crisis thing, because the hope is that the media cycle, the consumption and the discussion around it with social media would die down. Now, WWE, I don't think knew that. I think they knew people were concentrating on this story and released a massive game-changing announcement today. Under this investigation, which Vince McMahon was cooperating with and everyone on the board was cooperating with, is get a voluntary step down as the chairman of the company. He will retain his role as the creative head of WWE, and his daughter, Stephanie McMahon, who's previously, been a brand advisor, been the head of creative, has worked in the executive branch of the company for many, many years. She stepped away a month ago with all that was going on and wanted to take care of her family and the recent things with her husband's health. Triple H, she's also an executive in the company. She will now become the chairwoman of WWE, and she will remain in that role until the investigation is completed.
They went to the in case of emergency.
Or was that leave of absence orchestrated?
I'm telling you, it was, bro. I'm telling
Who
you,
knows? It's speculation, dude.
Yeah, you're right. It is speculation. You're right.
Yeah.
But when you start connecting the dots, it kind of makes sense.
Charlie Day and It's Always Sunny, just connecting the dots. Let's just lay out the whole story.
Do you guys believe that he's going to be in character tonight?
Well, the idea is that he's going to appear. I mean, mind you, this could be dated for some people watching after SmackDown airs. We're coming to you at about 5 p.m. Central.
Stephanie McMahon fires Vince McMahon live on air as part of storyline.
Yes, the comments are going to be crazy. Ratings on SmackDown tonight are going to be high. Yes,
well, yeah, there's already a title match tonight, so it was going to be high already. So
yeah, so I mean, and what position is this going to be in? I assume they have this open the show. That'll be something. I assume they have him in that prime position. This is
wild. This is just absolutely wild that this news came out on this particular week when the stock market is just absolutely tanking, dude. I mean, I'm not trying to cause, stir anything up. It's just, this is just absolutely insane.
Yeah, they lost another 4% loss for WWE stock today too.
Mm-hmm. Let's get into some of these news articles that we got surrounding this whole situation.
Let's
a bunch of stuff to go over.
A bunch. Let's start with Fightful Select. A big update on Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and reactions to WWE changes. Of course, as we know, Stephanie McMahon will serve as interim CEO and interim chairwoman just after she had stepped away roughly about a month ago. Fightful Select had spoken to well over a dozen employees, staff talent, and former employees who have worked with the McMahons, both closely and at a distance. Now, of course, we already covered about how he's going to retain the creative duties and how he's going to appear on SmackDown in character, according to the CNBC report. Fightful says they have not confirmed that he's going to be in character tonight, and my God, I hope not. The immediate reaction Fightful got when speaking to people in the company was frustration, as several said they viewed the move as largely as a superficial move. Absolutely nothing's going to change in their opinions. It's going to be business as usual. Vince is still going to run the company. Stephanie is just basically a figurehead, and that was kind of the gist of what Fightful was told. One talent said they saw Vince McMahon appearing on screen as a cheap ratings ploy in the middle of something serious, and don't expect much of the culture, presentation, or anything else with WWE to change with McMahon still around and in control of creative. Quote, as long as Vince McMahon still has his creative duties, nothing can change. What could possibly be different? If he asks something of Stephanie as interim CEO, is she going to say no? There are numerous sources across multiple departments within WWE who have stated to Fightful that they will communicate to higher ups and possibly Vince McMahon himself that appearing on screen in character is not a good idea. So now that leads to believe when you go watch SmackDown tonight, if he is not in character, you kind of wonder, well, maybe have things changed. So one wrestler feared that McMahon will turn this into a Vince McMahon versus the world type of situation, much like the steroid trial. One source they spoke to was close to Vince McMahon, saying during those eras he agreed that the biggest threat to McMahon's power is this. This is the biggest threat since the steroid trial. Fightful was told the same, that NBC was the script for SmackDown was completely torn up. So whatever plans they had tonight were torn up, which, boy, what if Riddle wins the title tonight? Wouldn't that be something?
Bro.
One top.
Bro. Yeah, that's right, bro.
Fightful Select had also mentioned that Stephanie McMahon was finally removed from internal production mailing lists and was added back by the next show. So she was added from all the mailing lists, and all of a sudden, nope, she's right back in. With her stepping back in, there was a lot of optimism from talent, specifically because she is well liked within the talent backstage. One top star said they didn't really know what was going on, but they've heard in theory, Stephanie McMahon is my boss and that effing rules, that quote unquote. One former employee that worked directly with Stephanie McMahon before her team was disassembled said the tone was always that she would be in that role eventually. She knows and breathes that the business, and she is seamless. They also noted the narrative around the friction between Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon was not something they personally had experienced. So it almost sounds like Stephanie was going to be the one to fill in once Vince stepped down, which is very big news to us.
And that's been theorized for years in general by people that follow the company.
Continuing on the Fightful Select article, a female talent talking to Fightful says they think things can only get better from this point and was hopeful that both the investigation and Stephanie McMahon as interim CEO would lead to better treatment for women in the company across the board. The talent went as far as to say, as they hope it results in women getting treated better and paid equal to the men there. But another talent said, quote, I can't imagine it won't change much, but I love Steph, so that's good. I imagine Vince keeps his position in creative, and once the investigation's over, he'll take back over if he can. Nearly unanimously, staff, employee, and talent expect John Laurinaitis to be gone from the company, which is no surprise based on the reporting we've done in the past 24 hours. One said, quote, as long as Vince McMahon is around, he'll probably just come back unless he's the latest scapegoat. Another talent said, quote, from a creative aspect, I'm hoping that things change, but I doubt they will. From a business aspect, I'm hoping things change, but I also still doubt that they will. Really, the only thing I think can actually change is Johnny will be fired, which it will be nice. Talent said that, by the way. Stephanie is great, but I doubt she's going to suddenly be on board with healthcare and guaranteed contracts. As far as talent go, on Wednesday, they were briefed and told by the Wall Street Journal report. We did mention that on yesterday's show. And a message was sent to WWE staff this morning from Stephanie, and that was something that Sid and Jose and I covered earlier this morning. So that is it for the Fightful report, gentlemen. Let's dissect that before we go into the other news stories that broke after this.
I mean, I would say, yeah, obviously WWE feels they have to respond to this and make a change, and this isn't me. I want this to be seen. I know everyone tags me as the WWE apologist guy. I think I'm just kind of objective. I'm pro wrestling. I want everything.
Just be yourself, bro. Be yourself.
All right. So here's what I'm going to say. I think the best thing about this whole scenario and the way Vince is handling it is saying, no matter what, WWE is going to exist without me. So if I have to pull back on my role and still be involved in the company because I'm Vince McMahon and it's WWE, sure. But if I have to get out of the boardroom, I'll do that. You know, and that's a massive thing. I think even if Vince is just a producer and he's the head of creative, still not. I think it has to be said, he's still not gonna, like, if he's not getting that job back, that's still a massive thing. And I know everyone's gonna say, oh, well, this is just his daughter and it's just like a puppet thing and stuff like that. I don't know if that's the case. I really, really don't. And I think
it'd be great if she puts her foot down to his stuff. It'd be tremendous. But
is it just because you want to see him kick down a notch, Jeremy? What is it?
No, it's the fact that it's the fact. I'm
not doing it to start shit. I just honestly want to know the answer to the question.
It's the fact that everybody in that company feels like nothing is going to change because of this. He is still going to run everything from the top down, regardless, creative, company, everything. The sentiment from everybody in the company that was spoken to in all aspects of the business, from talent to staff, feel like absolutely nothing's going to change from this. And this is just to look good on paper.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but I've compared this a lot to Succession, the show Succession
Yep.
on HBO.
Very similar.
And it's very, very similar. There's actually an episode in the very last season or at the end of the previous season where there's a similar situation going on where the kids of the head of the company, of the CEO, are trying to make this coup d'etat happen, right? So the CEO is actually forced to step down because of the board, right? The board doing some type of investigation, some shady shit's going on. The CEO steps down and appoints one of his offspring, I think it was one of his sons, to be the CEO interim, right? But he was still running the whole show anyway. So I think there's some validity to what Jeremy is saying. So I don't know exactly what people are expecting out of this. We'll see tonight. That's all I got to say. We'll see tonight.
Kayla Braxton had an interestingly timed post on
you
Instagram
shared this
today.
with me, but I don't know if this connects. Anything that anyone put on the internet right now,
I think you're probably looking too much into
I don't know.
Jeremy, go ahead,
I
Jeremy. Go
Do you have
push over
access
a
to
rock and be shocked that there's worms on anything.
I'm
Go
looking
ahead.
for it. I'm bringing it up here.
Yes. So anything that anyone in wrestling posts right now, go ahead. I got my alarms going off again. This is nuts. This is like.
While you get that pulled up, Pat McAfee, of course, on his show today, said about Vince McMahon appearing on SmackDown. Absolutely nobody knew that it was happening until it was announced earlier this morning. So a lot of people were kind of surprised that he would. Again, if he's in character, that's going to be something else. But Stephanie McMahon made her first comment since the news. This was 6:48 a.m. Central Time today. She says that until the conclusion of the investigation into the recent allegations, I am honored to assume the role of interim chairwoman and CEO. I love WWE and all it continues to do to entertain billions around the world. That was Stephanie McMahon's statement early this morning after the news broke. And there it is. Now, where's the there it is. There's the caption up on the top right. Put the trash where it belongs and leave it there.
Jeremy,
that came out this morning.
Maybe this is just a public
anything.
Service for the environment, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
This came out
But why is she wearing a corset and leather to endorse the
Because
environment?
she can.
I understand that, Jeremy.
Yes.
It's just
and
like
God bless her for that.
Okay, this comes out literally 2 hours after the news breaks. Come on.
I know, but that still doesn't mean anything. Did she say
Come on.
I'm not going. Come on, you come on. We can go over to any here. We can go over any tweet right now from any prominent executive in the company and say this stuff.
I Gestomania right
here.
Oh
my God, Stephanie McMahon, why'd you post that picture of coffee? You must be so tired because
I'm hoping that you're secretly throwing serious shade. I mean, so they're picking up, the internet wrestling community is picking up exactly
this
on what Jeremy's talking about.
This is literally 2 hours after the news broke. So let's see here. Maria Kanellis also commented on this here. Of course, she is with WWE a long time and of course helped get the women's division in Ring of Honor back off the ground as well, and very successful with women like Willow Nightingale and Roxy leading the way. She had posted that there are a lot of good people that work there in WWE. She mentions WWE employs hundreds of people. Let's hope the company is bought out by someone or some company that will treat WWE like a business and not a boys club.
And who is this again saying this? I'm sorry.
Maria Kanellis Bennett.
Okay. Yeah.
Health insurance, retirement plans, paternal leave, vacation days, childcare, and a clear direction of the future. This is going to be an anxiety-filled time for a lot of people that work there. Hopefully the company culture will change and people will still have jobs.
Here's the thing, Jeremy. WWE superstars aren't considered employees. They're considered independent contractors. So they got to pay for their own insurance.
That's why that's what she's asking for.
I know. I understand that. But as long as they don't address that at a corporate level where WWE superstars are employees and not independent contractors, that whole situation is not going to change, because from a business standpoint, it doesn't make sense for them to be paying these independent contractors their health insurance, because it's just going to be way more expensive for them. So I don't know. I think that's cool. I think that, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe Stephanie McMahon will make that happen.
Some other interesting news. Obviously, there was like a shit ton of articles that came out
It's
today.
the whole show today, guys. We're almost not going to cover.
We're not
anything
talking
else.
about anything else.
Yeah,
but don't worry, we are ending on a positive note. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
we got a
And
cool.
we will get your questions in.
We
about
got
this.
a,
This is a long show.
We got a cool video to show you at the end of the show.
I'm excited about that.
So yeah, there's literally what I still have 6 articles to cover, by the way, here. So is Nick Khan involved in the Vince McMahon allegations? According to Uncle Dave Meltzer, 8 of the 12 board members have initiated the independent investigation. This actually started, the investigation, I think, started in April, is what they said. And Khan is one of the 4 members to, he believes Khan is one of the 4 members to recuse themselves from the investigation. So he did not confirm 100% that that's the case, but he believes that Nick Khan has stepped away in regards to that independent investigation.
We have a lot of questions from people. Don't worry, guys.
Yes,
We'll
got
get
a
to
lot
it in
of
the final
comments.
segment. Yeah.
It's Freestyle Friday, baby.
Both sides of the spectrum. Don't worry, we are going to get to your questions, but just like that previous comment, Kevin, you're the man, bro. You're
Thank you.
always level-headed. I love it, man. Pure speculation on the IG post or tweets. Let's not assume, and I think that's always 100% to be true to yourself and be level-headed, right? And especially in this wrestling space where everything is so
But if the intent was not related to that, you should not have posted it, because literally that happened like just minutes after that news broke. So.
Yep.
True.
No, I get it.
Yeah, but we've also seen people do
totally
stupider
get it.
things on the internet. You know what I mean? Where it's like, not a good time for this
It's
joke.
the internet. It's the internet.
Not a good time for that joke. You and I, let me put it this way. You and I have had meetings with people on the internet where we had to say, like, let's change the look of that because there's something going on in the world, and that wouldn't reflect well on us. And that isn't us. It's other places that you and I have worked at, Jose, separate of where we are at Sportskeeda. I remember having this conversation years ago. Something happened in the news. It's very sad and depressing. And there was a project that we were contributing to. And I was like, I don't know if we should go with that because it could just be seen in the wrong way. And I'm saying it as a comedian, you know what I mean? I'm saying that as a comedian, you know? But I think it's intuitive when we speculate and we say all these different things. There's a lot of other people that you aren't reading about in this story that are affected by it. A lot of them. And I like that Maria's take on that was about people that work in the company, they're good people.
Yeah.
The thing
especially
I'm from this,
especially like how they booked them when Mike Bennett was in the company. They did not treat them well booking wise. But and so to say something like that is pretty cool. Usually this guy talks about numbers. But it was interesting. Brandon Thurston was on Busted Open Radio today, and also gave some newsworthy information, saying
he's
that
the money man in wrestling right now.
Yep.
He's the go-to guy with wrestling.
he's like the Darren Ravel of the wrestling world, so to speak. He goes, he says
The
on
economics guy. Yep.
He says on Busted Open today, I know that Stephanie is going to be interim CEO, but I've heard from many people that Stephanie and Kevin Dunn don't like each other. So as long as someone like Kevin Dunn has a job in WWE, this seems to be for public consumption, as in she's a figurehead. This is to look. Optics is probably
it's also worth noting that Kevin Dunn's not on the board, you know, and he certainly has influence on TV production and how the television show is done, but he doesn't have executive power.
And he went on to say, and looking around at some of the headlines I see in mainstream media today, I think WWE is getting the response in the headlines that they want.
Yes, and another thing worth noting is, would Vince be on this television show if he didn't feel confident about this?
I don't think that's
so.
Actually, I think that's a very good, legitimate thing to bring up, right? He wouldn't feel confident. Why would he be in public if he's worried about it?
Well, he was in public for the steroid. I mean, this is Vince.
Sure.
This is Vince being Vince.
It's Vince being Vince. I completely agree with you, Jeremy. But I also think if he was legitimately concerned, he'd just disappear. We just wouldn't, we wouldn't hear about it. That isn't me absolving him or defending him anyway. It's just
if he wasn't concerned, he wouldn't be stepping down.
No,
even though this,
I also think he's doing that for the benefit of the company. Like, hey, I'm going to take the heat, guys, and I'm
even
going to.
Though this is not a federal investigation, like him against the people of the United States, right? It's still an investigation. he has a pretty good record against investigations. I'm just going to say that right now. So that you bring that point that you make, man. Why is he coming out?
You want to scratch this itch? Go watch that Dark Side of the Ring with Jeremy Bennett.
What if the board? I mean, what if he's found in violation of those bylaws? The board can just get rid of him.
The thing is, would they do it?
Maybe there's something in his clause. He's the founder of the company. Maybe there's a clause that there needs to be.
I'm sure there's something.
Vote.
There's probably something hiding in there.
He is never leaving this company.
There's some bullshit. There's some bullshit hiding in his contract. I can do what I want.
Exactly.
The name I am God. I can do what I want. It goes
back to Succession. He probably puts something in his positional contract where it requires so many votes from the director in order for him to get off of the board.
It requires 13 votes, and there's only 12 people on the board.
Yeah.
It requires 13 votes for me to
get this.
But
He's like, oh, you're gonna fire me? Well, that's nice because the name on the contract doesn't read Stephanie McMahon. It reads Vince McMahon.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
He's gonna relaunch WCW. That's what's gonna happen.
Hey, I'm gonna buy my competition. AEW. He just announces it right on broadcasting TV, and then immediately after SmackDown, and while AEW Rampage is simulcast. This is ridiculous. No one knows what's going to happen tonight.
Oh man!
Chloe
Daniel on point.
Brandon,
perfect observation.
Yeah,
this shit is absolutely insane.
Absolutely insane. Yes,
Brandon,
Chloe, I'm with you. Yes.
Brandon Thurston also he's been very active this week on this, or actually this week. What I mean, he's been very active the last 36 hours on this situation, and some posted on Twitter here. He did this this afternoon at about 2:20 at Brandon Thurston. If you want to check it out, posted a copy of some bylaws which are conditions that could essentially remove him. The board could fire him. So there are some
shout out to Ross. His writing on this was he used the word tempest. I was like, oh, Ross, you incredible, wonderful man.
Oh yeah,
go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, Ross Berman.
He's the man.
So basically this is a November 2010 employment agreement. It was filed with the SEC. So it is public knowledge and outlines that the board would have cause to terminate McMahon's employment.
Yeah, but I mean, they have cause. The thing is, though, are they going to act on it? Just because you have the proverbial bullet doesn't mean you have to pull the trigger on it, correct? So it's, do you do that with this guy? Do you do that with the guy who's synonymous with the brand and its vision and everything that it's about? I would frame this way. Imagine Walt Disney gets the Disney company in the position it's in the 1960s, where it immediately becomes the foundation of the next century of American pop culture, right? And launches the idea of an amusement park on the grandest possible scale with Disneyland and Disney World. And then he passes away, and it's a national tragedy. That's the end of him running the Disney company. And then his family is a part of it, and now it's evolved in this thing. The family's involved in the company, and they always will be, but they don't really have a ton of huge roles with it. I compare WWE and the McMahons in the same way. This is the Disney of wrestling. And you have that man who is a central character. His vision, his touch is on it. Whether you hate him and you hate what's going on with WWE, you've grown up with it, you're a pro wrestling fan. He's created a lot of stuff you've loved and a lot of stuff you probably didn't like either. And the fact of the matter is the wrestling world revolves around his vision. Now that vision is... I wouldn't say impaired, but it's a little less powerful. Think about that. There's a lot at stake here. And I wonder, is that something where they're going to say, hey, we're just going to leave you in your creative role and we're going to keep this boardroom out? And that would still be a massive thing, because then he would be able to dictate a contract for sponsoring or licensing or branding. His daughter would have overreach on him. Would she give it to him? I don't know. You have Nick Khan in that position. The deals he's made for this company with billions of dollars tied to it over this. There is a lot of ramifications to this. This isn't, I mean, obviously the jokes, the memes, they're all there. But this has shockwaves through the entire industry. This also doesn't just affect WWE. If you're in AEW, you're watching this very closely, very, very closely. And guess what? If you're AEW, you want Vince McMahon in the game. Because if he's out, that WWE TV price deal goes down. Guess what your value does? It devalues too. This is Reaganomics in wrestling. All right. So if they get hit, we get hit. All right. Oh my God. They don't get another $1 billion TV deal. We're trying to get $500 million. We're trying to get $250 million. Now we're going to get a third of that,
Yep.
So I mean, if you're an AEW fan and you're rooting for this, you don't want that to happen. If you want a prosperous wrestling future, I'm not saying Vince McMahon needs to stay in his position for WWE to be the monster it is. He's created something that will exist long before he is alive, like long after he's alive, rather. Dyslexic, ADD, right? So I get the jokes and everything, but it's such a hard story to process. I do think it is optics with Stephanie coming in, but if you are going to bring someone in to do this, she's on the short list no matter what. Like, who else would be in that position? Who else would you put there that understands that balance between the creative room, being a performer, why the fans care, and also the business promotion marketing side of it?
That's why if Laurinaitis does become the fall guy, I think Triple H is like probably the perfect guy to fill in for that. That was a well-timed,
and also talent would trust him. They would the talent. I mean, if he becomes the head of talent relations and he's on the board or involved in the executive branch, people trust him, and fans trust Triple H as well.
Yeah. Great tweet there by Sean Ross Sapp, by the way.
Shout out to Sean,
way, guys.
We
got 204 live viewers with us, so thank you for tuning in on a Freestyle Friday here. It's a top story special report on this whole Stephanie McMahon and Vince McMahon situation. Hit that like button, share today's show in your favorite wrestling group. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching us on Twitch, give us a subscribe and a like. And if you're watching us on YouTube, smash that notification bell so you don't miss whenever we go live. Thank you for
Joseph Carino is coming at us. Do we want to talk about this? Joseph has a take here, Joe. I'll read your take. I'm not going to go off. He goes, none of you guys talk to anyone in WWE, so all you know is what Meltzer said, etc. No,
we talk. We know what Sean Ross Sapp has said.
I can tell you. I've talked to people who've worked in the company in the last 72 hours.
Yeah, we don't take the position or go with the story unless we have absolute confirmation on anything. We may not have direct confirmation with WWE, but we do have a very well connected circle of people that we work with within the community and within the business. So yes, and very reliable sources.
And I've talked to people who've worked in WWE that are not actively with the company this week. And I've told you about it, and they were disappointed to hear about this.
We got some sad breaking news.
What's going on?
Yes, I did want to talk about that because I just thought about that a few minutes ago, and I did want to bring it up. And the bad news just continues to come in as Dave Hebner has passed away. Legendary brother of Earl Hebner, WWE referee, has passed away.
Dave Hebner, of course, big part of that main brass of people with WWE and its rise up. Him and Earl Hebner are part of one of the biggest angles of all time in front of the biggest televised wrestling audience of all time when Hulk Hogan and Andre had their massive match on Saturday Night's Main Event, and Earl, they're twins. Yep. Dave and Earl Hebner are twins. Of course, Earl Hebner, a very long-running referee with WWE. He was in the Montreal Screwjob, right? They were in this angle, and it's one of the most famous angles where they used real-life twins, and fans didn't know these guys were twins.
Yeah.
So the $1 Million Man brings out his referee that he got plastic surgery on, and it was just one of those, like, so clever, so obvious, it's right here, let's grab it and run with it type things that they did in the rock and wrestling era that was just like soap opera becomes pro wrestling in the right way. And Dave was a big part of the company for a very, very long time. Condolences out to the Hebner family, who have decades of experience in the wrestling business, and feeling for them right now for sure.
Yeah. Started with WWE back in the 70s, also has worked with TNA and AEW. It looks like he's been battling Parkinson's disease.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Report from PW Insider has reported that John Laurinaitis is not backstage at SmackDown tonight.
Oh wow, look at that! Yeah, Dave Hebner there. Slight difference. You can see it now a little bit in the face between him.
Kinda.
Yeah, just slight.
Yeah. No. I will not be at SmackDown tonight. I got some prior commitments, and yeah,
he's
no comment. No comment.
no comment.
Give me the hot tag, Vince. Give me that. Come on, people power.
People with different takes here. Other people looking
Well,
on.
let's get into that part of the show, guys. I know we've spent 35 minutes right now talking about Stephanie and Vince, but let's get into your guys' takes on this week's edition of Freestyle Friday.
All right, so we'll take a lot of questions about this entire story here. All right. Now, here's the thing for people that are watching for the first time. We do this every Friday. We do a long show every single Friday. So be prepared for that. Constance with a great question here. Where is Shane McMahon in this? Shane McMahon was politely and quietly sent home from WWE in January with the whole backstage reported fiasco at the Royal Rumble in St. Louis. Shane was performing in the match. Shane was also producing the match with some people in WWE. And a lot of people are upset with how that match went and how it was.
I don't think he was supposed to be a producer. He went into business of producing all by himself, I think, from what I heard.
Well, get your questions in and we'll get into this. Yuri Dennis with a question here. Yuri, you with us all the time. Thank you so much, Yuri. Could it be possible that Roman drops the title to help distract us from the scandal? Here's the thing. That would be a healthy distraction.
Wow.
As soon as I heard,
would be a healthy distraction.
as soon as I heard the plans for tonight were completely torn up, first thought that came to my head was Riddle's winning tonight.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Even though that would cause a massive, like, what the hell just happened, right? Where do you go from there?
I tell you what,
there's still going to be attention on that situation.
Well, yeah, I thought you meant where do you go with the titles? I was going to say, well, I'll tell you what.
No.
You split the titles back up. You have Riddle drop the SmackDown one to Drew at SummerSlam. That way, Drew walks into Clash at the Castle as champion. Riddle is walking in as the Raw champion, or the WWE champion, or wherever.
Doesn't this add a what if factor to everything? Moving forward?
Yeah, especially now that we learned that the SmackDown's been torn up tonight. Who knows what's going to happen? Because this was supposed to be a big show on paper. So
here's a comment, not so much a question. Get your questions in, by the way. Jason Lewis, WWE won't change. It's still going to suck. It's not going to be PG. The stages will still look the same. No megastars will be created. Why do people care about the stages? Why
according
is
to
it's a nostalgic thing, bro.
Yeah, according to Mike Johnson from PW Insider, Vince McMahon is in a great mood backstage and was joking around despite all the allegations. There was a report.
That's right, pal.
There's a rumor that Vince would address the superstars and employees, but this report notes that as of 4 p.m., I'm guessing Eastern because Mike Johnson's in New York. So as of 4 p.m., that had not occurred. Report goes on to detail a weird pre-production meeting with no acknowledgement from Vince, no any questions about the WWE Board of Directors investigation. Some were privately wondering about the number of NDAs that have been discovered, as well as how many existed beyond the scope of the investigation. So very weird feeling tonight backstage at SmackDown.
Yeah, the multiple NDA things is the biggest question mark too that we can't even get into because we just know some are out there, right? But the thing is, those are worth noting. We don't know if those are tied to like personal misconduct. Those could be tied to, hey, there's an NDA on the release of someone. There's an NDA on we had a negotiation with someone and it fell apart, so we're going to sign an NDA. You know, I know people that have signed those in entertainment and it has nothing to do with like a personal infraction. It has something to do with this person was fired for this. And listen, we'll sign an NDA saying we're not going to talk about why you're letting go, you know? So that those go all over the place. So we don't know what those are. If they're tied to stuff like this, obviously that's a bigger deal. Also, we know most of the conversations about Vince McMahon because he's much more popular than John Laurinaitis, but what is his role in this? You know what I mean? So there's a lot going on there. We will
According,
get to this.
apparently there's rumors, dirt sheets that have no sources and are getting outed by Sean Ross Sapp are trying to throw things out there that early word backstage is Kevin Dunn and John Laurinaitis have been asked to leave the building.
No,
Sean Ross Sapp has corrected them and say, why make stuff up?
Yeah, why make stuff up? Okay.
Christian Gonzalez watching us. Christian Gonzalez watching us on Facebook. Does Stephanie have the power to fire Khan?
That's unclear. Completely unclear. I think that every different corporate board has a different structure for those different types of things.
And why would she
answer that question?
Why would she? The direction he's kind of brought the company as a business is actually Granted, people, put it on his head for all the releases, but let's just look at the business
Put it
side of
this way.
things.
Put it this way. Getting rid of him would be like the Warriors just saying, we're going to get rid of Stephen Curry. In terms of business,
Yeah.
he got you $2 billion TV deals.
Yeah.
2 of them. Roland Curtis, who is so supportive of the channel. You guys can guarantee that you get on screen with super chats as well. And he goes, even though Linda McMahon seemed disconnected from the WWE when she was on Fox News a week ago, she briefly put Mr. McMahon over as the mastermind. Shane McMahon is the CEO and chairman of his own company. It's true. Shane is still involved in business and still involved in things. I also, by the way, I still believe he's employed by WWE in some way.
Is that still the sports agency thing, or did he get another company?
He's always had that. They never went away. He's always had that. So let's get into this. We have one question from Chloe, who had a great comment. I'll get to Kevin Sullivan, who's from Sportskeeda as well. Chloe said, why is Stephanie more inclined for this role than Triple H? A couple of different things. You need someone who understands both sides of the wild world of professional wrestling that WWE presents with its characters and overtop stuff, right? And then you need someone who understands corporate branding and understands
she's a brand officer.
In the finance world. Stephanie understands that. I'm not saying Triple H doesn't, but Stephanie has a little bit more experience in that world. And dare I say, I would like to see a powerful woman in the role of this company right now. I don't think it's a bad thing.
No.
I think it says something like, hey, if Vince is out and we do have a McMahon and we do have Stephanie who's been around this and didn't go away like Shane did for some time, there's a little relief in that. We have someone who's been here, who knows our company, who knows its worth, who knows why the fans care about us.
Our buddy Cassidy Haynes from bodyslam.net with an article here also. A lot of talents are using the word frustrated by this whole controversy.
Sure. And who wouldn't be, you know?
I get it.
Yeah. More comments. We're going to try and get to as many as we can here. But here we go. Kevin Sullivan. Thank you so much. Not related to WCW. not the Taskmaster.
He's not related to the Taskmaster.
No, different Kevin. Kevin's really great. Writes a lot of great stuff for Sportskeeda. Do you know if Vince? So many people using Vince.
Oh, said my name.
Has to relinquish his shares of the company if they will remove him. That is completely unclear. I've been doing some digging on that, and it is very unclear. I doubt he would have to sell. It would be the legality of that would be very, very strenuous on the company to force someone to have to sell.
IPO. It's an IPO, so it's public, so anybody can own it. So
and also he may have proprietary entrance to buying those stocks anyway for the rest.
Now, if he has a controlling interest because of the percentage, there may be requirements to relinquish some of that, but not all of it.
No, there's no way they can get him to sell all the stock.
No.
You know?
Yeah, again, it goes back to what I said. He probably already has something written in paper or in his contract.
Oh God, that's what's in the contract.
Exactly. Victor Nash on Facebook. Jose, you have guys heard anything else on Sasha Banks? Last thing I read was her attorneys have been working on her release ever since last week.
And we thought this was to deflect from the Vince McMahon story, but yet then we've not heard a damn thing about this since that broke. So.
Also, if you're Sasha, you don't want to get lost in the news cycle.
How
with
crazy
this.
has this been? We've
You
had
want people talking about you.
How crazy has this week been? We've had a midnight breaking news, and we've had an early morning breaking news.
I think you said it best this morning, Kevin. When you woke up, there was 12 news cycles that passed since you've woken up. Yes, you're right, because I woke up to the same news cycle as you did, and I'm just like, this is absolutely insane. Stephen Chambers on Facebook.
Stephen Chambers, so great. Enter the Elimination Chambers.
Any predictions for Slammiversary this Sunday? Any title changes?
Hard to say. I really think Josh Alexander needs a really big feel-good win.
He's not. Yeah, he's. They're not going to put it on Eric Young. No,
but I also think Eric Young is sort of Teflon in that way. You know,
I think
he's such a developed guy in that regard.
I think the X Division title is going to change, obviously, because it's an Ultimate X match, and you've got 6 guys in there. So I think just by the work that he's done for the company and the work that he's done in pro wrestling overall, I think Speedball Mike Bailey is going to be the new X Division champion come Sunday. I think it's Sunday.
Good call. I agree with you. Right call.
I want to think Chelsea Green's going to win the Knockouts championship in the Queen of the Mountain, because I don't see I don't see the women's tag titles changing. I don't see the world championship changing, and I don't see the men's tag titles changing either. So I think the two titles will change. Will be the X Division and the Knockouts title.
Bring up those questions. Keep them coming, everybody. We'll keep taking a couple more here. Eric Calavera, thank you so much, Eric. You do incredible art for Sports Key. We love you. We should do some more collaborations and stuff like that.
Here's an interesting comment: sell WWE to The Rock.
I did Jeremy, you remember this video I worked on? And I shared the script with you a few months ago. It was really well done. Great stuff written by our team. You can go check it out on WrestleBinge. And it was about the idea of, could The Rock theoretically have a corporate role in WWE? He's already in direct business.
Abso-frickin-lutely.
With
Yes.
Nick Khan. He's already close with Nick Khan. So this might be that.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Who owns the XFL right now?
That would be The Rock.
Yuri
The
Genis.
XFL.
Could it be possible that Roman drops the title tonight to Riddle to help distract us from the scandal?
We kind of covered this already.
Abso-frickin-lutely.
Yeah, it's possible. Also, I think we could have a wild return tonight.
No Roic. Hey,
that's my crazy prediction. You want to get nuts? You want to do a real distraction? Hey,
you want? Yes.
Bray Wyatt, how much money do you want? How much money do you want? We'll give you the money you want.
You imagine that?
To answer,
oh my God,
the chat, to answer a recent
Lights
chat,
go out. Put the mandible claw on Vince. Here we go.
You know, Dave Hebner is Earl's brother, not son.
Yeah.
There's a question in the chat on that.
Chloe Danielle on Facebook. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Love you, girl. Thank you for tuning in every day. How is Stephanie more qualified than Triple H, Kevin?
We quickly covered this earlier. She has more experience in the executive branch of the company. Not to say Triple H doesn't. She's also someone who understands both lanes. She knows how to operate within the pro wrestling bubble that WWE kind of always has to pop for mainstream media partners that they're with. And in doing that, especially a lot more in the digital age and people being able to rediscover wrestling and go back and have the digital archive, WWE's been able to show, hey, we're not just this wrestling show, right? It's always been something they've dealt with. And she understands that intrinsic battle that WWE will always have with Wall Street and media partners. And not to say Triple H isn't, but you need people with a variety of experience. She has a great variety of experience. She's been raised in it. And, from youth, this is a girl who was running around the hallways, saying, wow, hi, Andre the Giant, my big friend, as a little kid. So she's been around this business. I think that there's indisputable that she should have a role in the company in the future. Deepak Modi
returns. Yeah,
bring back Bailey, maybe. Yeah, sure. I mean, if you want to do a great return and give fans something to feel good about with everything going on, why not do it now? A healthy distraction.
We have a short coming up that I don't know if those air on Snapchat and Instagram or whatever, but we recorded who is going to fill out the Money in the Bank roster for the pay-per-view, and I put in there Bailey because I think she's ready and going to have a big role at SummerSlam.
Well, guys, before we head out for the end of the show,
we need a feel-good story.
We do need a feel-good story because the entire week has been filled with absolute crap stories that just make you feel like, what the hell is going on with the world? Well, there is still some positive stuff going on. And one person that's shedding that positivity is one Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who just gave a beautiful, beautiful home to his cousin Tamina. And I just wanted to share a little bit of this video and get your guys' take out of this. So without further ado, here we go.
He's got his hands over her eyes. She's like, what are you showing me? He walked her through a door.
All right. We love you so much, cuz. I'm so proud of you. Welcome to your new home.
Love that reaction.
Just
So
overwhelmed
beautiful.
with emotion. Yeah. Overwhelmed with emotion. She can't even process it, man. You can't even process it.
Imagine when The Rock gives you a multi-million-dollar, well, probably not multi-million-dollar, but a beautiful home. That's just awesome. Just such a beautiful thing. Such a great way to end the week.
Yeah.
So on a positive note with all this crazy-ass news going on this week.
Yeah. And then Stacey Biggs saying, someone tell The Rock I need a new house.
You get a house. You get a house. You get a house.
Everybody gets a house because I think he just gave a house to his mother last week, right?
This week,
Yeah.
I think this week too. I think it was I think that was just this week as well that he gave his mama a new house.
Yeah, I think it was over the weekend, over last week. Yeah, it was very recent.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you want to talk about a return that would completely get everyone, at least for like 24 hours, to not talk about this scandal tonight.
Oh,
Call up the Rock.
Rock
Call him
interrupts.
up.
oh
Rock
God.
cost Roman.
Oh my
Rock
God.
cost Roman.
Set up the
Riddle
storyline for WrestleMania.
Riddle wins because Rock cost Roman tonight.
Yes.
We need to pull the trigger that early.
Holy
Listen,
shit! Holy shit! Would that be awesome?
That
Yeah.
would be ridiculous. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah. And here's another thing is, no matter how this plays out, WWE is going to keep going. I don't see this being something that like makes WWE lose its position on the ladder or anything like that. I just don't.
So JBL, who has blocked me on Twitter for my support of Mauro Ranallo, but thankfully
Thank you for
someone-
making a personal situation there.
Thankfully, Uncle Dave retweeted somebody that screenshotted the tweet. He goes, Meltzer was such a great asset for WWE. He was so wrong and so easily manipulated that he was perfect to feed bogus info into order to swerve fans. He should have been on the payroll. Anyone who still follows him is amazing. And then Dave responds to, poor John. He has to make up stories to this degree. I feel sorry for him lying like this, but it does tell who he is.
Wow.
Uncle Dave and JBL getting into
Hey,
it. That's your Hell in a Cell match.
Unbelievable. All right, guys, let's get out of here for the weekend.
Yeah.
So much to get into. I was on the Turnbuckles podcast that was recorded before all of this happened with two very, very talented people.
You guys should do another one.
By the way, people have been asking me when I'm referencing people that work with WWE, was it the people I was on this podcast with? No, it was not. I want to emphatically say it was not them because I don't want anyone getting that idea. But we did talk about what it's like to work with Vince McMahon and the creative back and forth with him. I was speaking with the great Julie Harrison Harney and John Ryman, former writers for WWE. They were former writers for The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. They have a great podcast. It's called Turnbuckles. In the podcast, if you like me on Sportskeeda, I kind of talk about what it's like to book these interviews and what interviews with big name wrestlers are like and the intrinsic back and forth and kind of what we need to get out of them and my side of it. So if you like hearing me chat, I'll kind of pull back the curtain and leave it a little bit further and you'll kind of see how those things work. The Turnbuckles podcast, just search Turnbuckles podcast. You'll see the logo. It's a turnbuckle. It's kind of torn up, so you can see that. And then tonight and tomorrow and Sunday, I'm performing live comedy in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Beer City, USA. Tonight at 8 p.m., I will be at the Laughing Tap. Tickets available for tomorrow as well. Go to laughingtap.com or milwaukeecomedy.com. Sunday, I will be performing with them as well. Not at the Laughing Tap, but at Lakefront Brewery for a special early Lakefront Brewery show for Father's Day at 6:30. The dates are also pinned up at the top of my Twitter at Kev Kellam. I'm done.
Day drinking on. Get your day drinking on. For
dude, I'm drinking some Lakefronts. You know what I'm hoping for? I want to manifest.
That's a national
things.
sport. That's a national sport down here in Florida. Day drinking.
Day drinking? Well, come on, that in the summer, it's anywhere, right? And I want to manifest something. I'm really hopeful. I put out the tweet. I'm really hopeful that I get to meet the dudes from Red Letter Media. I would really, really like to get to meet them. One of my favorite YouTube channels. And I would love to be able to buy them a beer. The men who made movies about Milwaukee.
Manifest it, baby. Manifest.
Yeah, manifest. I'm putting it out there. If it doesn't happen, it's okay. But I'm gonna have a great time. If anyone's watching, they come out to the show, come up and tell me. I've met people at shows, and it's always really cool to talk wrestling with fans of the show too.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Guys, give me a follow on Jose G Official on my Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. I got my show Wrestling with Mindset. I just wrapped up an awesome interview that I did yesterday with W. Morrissey. So, guys, check it out. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be dropping next week. I'll make sure I'll put the link in the comment section so you guys can go and subscribe. But appreciate you and love you guys.
Every Wednesday after AEW Dynamite, Jose and myself will give y'all a debrief of Dynamite and talk about what we saw, what happened, and all that fun stuff. With Getting Over on Twitch, that's going to be right after AEW Dynamite, about 5-10 minutes afterwards. We will be continuing our GM mode where we've been fighting with Shane McMahon and Monday Night Raw to try to get a better better program than the other one. It's been a lot of fun trying to put together cards and matches and pay-per-views and things like that. And so join us on Twitch, search for Sportskeeda Wrestling, all one word. And of course, we do the top story off there too. It's our new channel. And we'd love to see more people get in there and join us on Wednesday nights.
Jeremy, get this question in. We got a great super chat from Victor Nash before we sign off. I hate not answering a super chat while we're live. I want to get this in. We have Slammiversary this weekend. Victor wants to know, real quick question. Nick Aldis will appear at the Impact Slammiversary, but who's the fifth member of the team? Who's the fifth man, Jeremy? Who could it be? It's got to be another throwback person. Like that, the way they're putting that whole team together, it's all like TNA throwbacks, right?
Yeah, like God, who's on there right now? I think I got to look again here on who's on that team.
It's Motor City Machine Guns are on there, right? I think. Am I correct?
So obviously he's appearing as Magnus. I would say James Storm.
That'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
I'm gonna go hang out with James Storm next month. Can't wait. Maybe we're gonna get him on our Twitch show. We might get James Storm on our Twitch show down the line too.
Hell yeah, bro! That'd be awesome. Let's do it. I'm down. I'm game.
That James Storm immediately comes to mind. Obviously, with America's Most Wanted with Chris Harris, a lot of history with TNA in Impact Wrestling. Because it's interesting because they're billing him as Magnus, Nick Aldis on this. So, God. Could be Bram, Tom Latimer, who's in NWA as well, married to the lovely champion Camille. But I would say I would put my money on James Storm. God, I don't know. Anybody else?
Yeah, Briscoes versus Good Brothers on this show too.
That's for the tag titles. Yeah, there's a on the farm segment they did with those four guys. That was pretty good on there. I don't know. Do you guys have any other?
It's got to be an old school TNA name, Kazarian's going to be on the show as well. So you have the Impact Originals versus the Honor No More guys from Ring of Honor.
Machine Guns fill out the team.
I don't know. Maybe Christopher Daniels makes an appearance. I don't know.
That would be great. Now that you bring it up, I think that would be the most ideal name. And he's very much in a backstage role in All Elite Wrestling. This would be something he would be able to do that wouldn't have much conflict, right? So, Victor, thank you so much for that late breaking thing you did while we're trying to sign off and do plugs. When you're watching wrestling, please do the most important thing, especially with everything going on. Just take a deep breath. Calm down. We'll get to your questions. If we didn't get to them live, we'll jump in the comments with you guys afterwards. Keep it going. Share the link or you stink. Just calm down. Thanks for coming to us and spending the time with us in this weird, crazy month that's been wrestling. And do what we all need to do. Just do this.
You got to take a deep breath.
Take that deep breath.
Do it. You got to take that deep breath.
Let that blood get to the brain and then pass it out.
And enjoy wrestling.
Talk to him.
I'd like to wish myself the best in my own future endeavors.
Get out of here. No. Talk to him. I want the Max Dupree guy.
Yeah!
There we go. Maximum Male Models. We got to get that as a sponsorship.
Max?
Don't cut me out of SmackDown tonight.
Dude.
I got some models. Yeah!
Watch out!